What do we say? Should we call this meeting to order?
Absolutely.
So 5:30 on November 17th, let's call the Board of Health meeting to order. Present we have Elaine Silva, myself, Candace Linehan, Laurel Garville, Anthony Chewy, Cindy taking minutes. The meeting is also recorded and I'm sure you can see the auto transcript. We have two town councilors with us, Julie Smith Galvin and Ann Santos, and presenting this evening we have Susan Racine. We want to maybe address the minutes from the last meeting real quick. I took a look at them earlier and they seem pretty good, like a tiny minuscule typo, but as far as the content, it seemed okay with me. Laurel or Elaine?
I didn't even see them. When did we get them?
I don't know, like
The
a
other day.
while. Yeah, it was in the meeting that had the information about the agenda.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't get it. So
No.
let's defer till December's meeting for the October one.
It came on the last Friday, the 12th. The title of the email is 11/17/21 BOH meeting 5:30 p.m.
From Sherry or from Cindy?
Cindy
It
had
was
them.
sent from Cindy.
Okay, hold on, let me look. Because it was funny, I was looking, I was like, hold on. It's been, we kind of got barraged by vaccine emails. Cindy, where are you? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Except, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, hold on. Elaine, do you have were you able to see them?
I saw them. I don't have them up right now. I'm trying to pull them up on my other computer because I was on Maven. But I didn't see any error. I would
No,
make
they
a
look-
motion. One look. You want to take a quick look? Take your time.
Yep, I'm
I'm
ready. They
pulling
look good. Candace, what, did you fix the typo? Or that you saw?
Can I fix it, or does somebody else need to fix it, or?
Cindy
You
will.
can just tell me what it is, I'll fix it.
The paragraph that starts with discussion of the 2015 A project, right after the word BOH, I think the word should be in instead of is.
Okay,
Oh, except that then, wait a minute. Is encouraging the viewer to support.
Small
the-
potatoes.
In asking the state, yes, in more of
In.
a, yes. I was just making sure a semicolon was not called for. Got it.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And instead of is, yep. Ooh, good pickup. Because those are the things that spell check do not get. Yes, I just didn't go down enough in my memo. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, so can I take a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as with the correction that Chair Linehan noted.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Gorville, aye.
So- Silva, yes.
Linehan, yes. Okay. Then, is there anyone on for public participation other than our invited folks? I don't see anyone. Anybody else?
I don't see anyone.
So we can close public participation. And Susan, are you ready to?
Sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you
Great.
for joining us. I appreciate having you in here to just share your take and give us a little bit more information about the project.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Susan Racine. I'm a primary care physician. I work in Boston, and I'm a member of the Greater Boston Physicians for Social Responsibility. And we are here, we are concerned about the possible health effects of the Peabody Peaker power plant project, that special project 2015A. And we just wanted to talk to the Wakefield Board of Health because Wakefield would be one of the municipalities that would get some power out of this plant if it were to be built as planned. And the first thing I want to do is just thank everybody for being on the Board of Health, and thank you for all that you've been doing and all that you've been through in the last almost 2 full years now with the COVID pandemic and all the crazy population health effects that we've had to endure. And so your work is terribly important, and I think this crisis has really shown us how important your work is. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you're doing. And so about the special project 2015A, this is a proposed construction of a power plant in Peabody, and it's a peaker plant which will just be used when there is an unusually high demand for energy. So it's not going to run all the time. It would just be starting and stopping, which apparently is very inefficient and really actually causes release of more pollutants. So we're concerned because it's a power plant that's going to be running on greenhouse gases, natural gas and oil. And as a result, will be emitting up to 51,000 tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is the equivalent of 11,000 motor vehicles that are gasoline powered on the road. So it's a lot of greenhouse gases every year. And it's projected to be probably the lifespan of the power plant would be about 30 years. And we are hoping to, and there have been laws passed to restrict the greenhouse gas output of the state. So it may be illegal to run this plant after it's been constructed after a few years because of the laws on the Massachusetts docket with the Global Warming Solutions Act and the Next Generation Climate Change Act that was just passed this past year. So what about the pollution effect? Well, in addition to just greenhouse gases, the plant will emit air pollutants, because anytime we burn fossil fuels, we emit air pollutants. And some of those air pollutants are nitrogen dioxides, and those have been shown to cause inflammation in the airways. They increase the risk of asthma attacks in children. They cause increased risk of hospitalizations and emergency room visits in adults with lung disease. There's also sulfur dioxide, which also has similar effects. There's also particulate matter, which is produced when you're burning a fossil fuel. And particulates have been well studied in all the studies of air pollution. And for the more dangerous particulate particles are the smallest ones. There's ones called 2.5 PM 2.5, and that's a 2.5 micron size particle that is able to get in deep into the airways and cause inflammation. And there's even smaller particles that can get through into the airways, into the lungs, and into the bloodstream and cause inflammation of not only the lungs, but in the blood vessels. So there's an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes and airway problems and breathing problems, even with short-term exposure to PM 2.5 and the ultrafine particles. And the proposed power plant will produce a significant amount of PM 2.5. And it's been shown that every 10 microgram per meter cubed increase of particle PM 2.5 increases all-cause mortality in those around that are breathing that air by 7.3%, all-cause mortality. And the Peabody Peaker project is projected to increase PM 2.5 up to 21.3 micrograms per meter square in the surrounding community. And short-term exposure has shown to cause increased mortality in infants, increased hospitalizations for cardiovascular disease, including heart attacks and strokes, increased heart attacks and emergency room visits for people with chronic lung disease, increased hospitalizations for children with asthma, and increased severity of asthma attacks in children. And there have been long-term studies that show that there's an increased risk of death in people who have long-term exposure to particle pollution, especially the PM 2.5. And there was a 2016 study in New England that showed that even in communities that met the current standards for air quality, there was an increased risk of early mortality in adults over 65 due to particulate matter exposure. And the same study was repeated in Boston a year later, and the same results were found. So, and ozone is another product of any fossil fuel combustion engine, and even the fossil fuel that isn't burned, that's just leaked accidentally, or leaked on purpose during the blowdowns that would happen with the compressor station that will be running the power plant, causes ozone. And the American Lung Association gives Essex County, where Peabody is located, a grade D for ozone concentrations already. So that's sort of some of the health effects. Oh, and long-term exposure to the particulate matter may also contribute to loss of cognitive function in adults and possibly cause dementia, and also have problems with fertility. It may cause premature birth, low birth weights, and increased fetal and infant mortality. So, and studies that have done, like people who have pregnancies that are close to major highways, they may see an increase in risk of autism for children that are exposed to that kind of pollution. So definitely this power plant will increase the pollution burden on Peabody, which already has in Essex County a grade D for their ozone concentration. Also, Peabody is an environmental justice community. The city actually meets all 4 criteria for being an environmental justice community, with having a certain percentage, meaning less than 65% of the average state income, less than 25%. They have about 25% of minorities, 25% are foreign born, and about 25% are non-English speaking citizens. So the actual census tract where the power plant is going to be located is also an environmental justice community. And people who live in these environmental justice communities typically have less resources to combat health problems, and they tend to be and have less ability to respond to environmental impacts that are adverse, like extreme weather. So in addition to being an environmental justice tract, the plant is less than 1 mile from 7 local schools, a hospital, and several daycare centers. So we would like the Board of Health of Wakefield to consider writing a letter to Governor Baker and Secretary of Energy Thea Hardies, asking them to do a study and in looking at the environmental impact of this proposed plant, and also a comprehensive health impact assessment to see what would be the impact of going ahead with this project that was proposed way back in, I guess, in 2015, but has not yet been constructed. Because there does seem to be a lot of evidence that this could have a significant downside in terms of health impact on the surrounding community. And the other issue is that with our new climate change law passed by the state, this would automatically trigger an environmental impact report because it is in an environmental justice track. But that law wasn't in effect in 2015, so it hasn't been done yet. I think that's all I plan to say. Are there any questions?
I was
Yes,
wondering
I
if
have
you
a
could.
question. Yeah, oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead.
Elaine. No, you go ahead.
I
Elaine.
have a question. Where would be the closest other type of this plant? Is there anything else type of this plant already built, like here in Massachusetts or on the neighboring borders of New Hampshire or Rhode Island?
Peabody already has 2 of these plants, and it would be very near to those.
Okay.
So they'd probably all be going off at the same time when the air is already not great if it's an excessively hot day, because ozone levels tend to be higher on those really hot, humid days.
Can I ask a follow-up question with that? I don't know if it was from the last meeting or was one of the letters that we received, but is it true that one of the plants in Peabody is going to be shut down after the construction of this one? Was that one of the plans, or are they all 3 still expected to be up and running?
I can speak to that.
Okay, great. Thank you, because I can't.
Okay.
Hi, Julie Smith Galvin, 28 Grafton Street. So there is a plant, a 68 megawatt plant located right next to where this 60 megawatt plant is going to be built. There are not filed plans to retire it. They have indicated to the Attorney General's office when the Attorney General was inquiring about this. They've made gestures that they're going to retire it, but I will tell you that retiring a power plant is a long process through the what's called the ISO, or the national the grid, which manages the grid, and there have been nothing officially filed. So until something is officially filed, I don't think that we can assume that anything is going to be retired.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I think that's, something to consider. I just wasn't sure what the status was, but that cleared it up. So thank you.
I had wondered if you could clarify a little bit how we could best support. I'm hearing that this power plant is just not a good thing. But then I feel like if we suggest a health impact study, then we're sort of like saying that we still almost support it being constructed. So are we, is our letter, is the tone of our letter, let's do a health impact study? Or is it really, this power plant shouldn't be being built? Like, it's just, it's not the way we're using power anymore. It's not going to be useful. And in a couple of years, it's not even going to be permitted to be constructed anyway. I wonder, like, are we just sort of like trying to help stall a little bit here? Or, I don't know, am I missing a piece of this?
I think it would be wonderful if you would like to write a letter saying that you feel that the plant shouldn't be built anyway. There has been a study done by Massachusetts Climate Action Now in conjunction with a consultant and Clean Energy, and they have shown that storage capacities can help with peak energy use, and battery, like solar,
newer
batteries that can store solar and stuff like that, and up to a 60 megawatt project is feasible and has been done in other places. So and we're trying to use less energy. We're trying not to have those power surges. We're all trying to get more energy efficient, appliances, and try to have our buildings more insulated. And so I'm hoping that these peak surges are less common in the future as we improve energy efficiency. So the ask is to ask for the environmental impact report. And if the Board of Health would like to be more forceful and suggest that this project be canned and another way of providing the energy be utilized, I think that would be wonderful.
Okay, but it seems like
go ahead.
Other
Sorry, go
boards
ahead.
have written a letter more suggesting this health impact study. Is that kind of what other towns that
Right.
are potentially
Yeah.
going to be receiving power from this plant?
Yeah, Peabody's written a letter because they're directly impact, and I think Danvers has written a letter, and Holden, yeah, are all sending letters.
Because I think consistency is important, so we should be consistent with what the other boards are
Yeah,
asking. But I guess I'm just trying to understand, like, what the most important piece of this argument is. And there was never a health impact study done before?
no, because it wasn't required,
Okay.
because it was felt to be too small, and there wasn't this ruling, which is just, I mean, yeah. There was something, it didn't even meet the a requirement to be overseen by the Massachusetts EPA.
But now it does. EPA involved.
Now it meets criteria for, because of the new law, it would, but I don't know if,
But perhaps they're grandfathering it.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So under the new law, you have to look at cumulative impact.
Yeah.
Which at the time that this was proposed, you didn't have to look at cumulative impact. So they would have had to look at those other two facilities that are on the same piece of land and what happens when they all three power up at the same time.
Right.
So technically they didn't need health impacts, but we think that they should go back and
do it. Okay. But I don't want to distract the issue. So I get Candace. We are the Board of Health. We are not the energy. We're not part of the Wakefield Light and Energy Board. So it's so I just want to kind of stay in our lane and be crisp and consistent. So we have one letter as an example, and it sounds like my worry is it had been written so long ago that I didn't want to write a letter that might not reflect any current changes. So it doesn't sound like anything has changed. So we pretty much could continue to use that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The letter, the Peabody letter.
Yeah, we got that. We reviewed that last month.
We also, I also spoke to Laurel. I actually spoke to Sharon from Peabody after that letter that we reviewed, and she had basically reflected the same thing, that it would be, it'd be helpful for us to, after we listen to this presentation, basically, follow suit in the same, if we're focusing on the health impact assessment, I think that's probably the best way to go about it and have some more consistency. So I agree with everything that's been said here.
Yeah, I just worry that coming up with, we don't want this at all, but in the meanwhile, we want to do, I just, sometimes people stop reading, saying, oh, geez, they're against us no matter what. So I think endorsing, heavily endorsing the impact study, and, despite a grandfathering, I mean, we've already gotten plenty of information from wise people in the field who think it's obsolete before the first brick is laid. So let's go. Let's write a letter.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's a great, I think that's a great summary of basically what we've talked about. I mean, I don't know how, I think we should follow along with some of the things that are being said, but really, I think one of the main points that we're seeing here is that this wouldn't meet the legislation that was passed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to protect those environmental justice communities. This plant would obviously already exceed that, right? So I don't know, I understand that you're saying that we're not Wakefield Gas and Light, but it might make sense for us just to include that as well. It wouldn't follow along with the direction of Massachusetts anyways, so maybe something interesting to include.
Right, if they were going to propose this today, it wouldn't fly.
Right. Right, we're trying, and we have, and Massachusetts has not met the Global Warming Solutions Act target for 2020 either. We're already producing more greenhouse gases than we're supposed to have been doing.
Is there anybody who could help us strengthen this with either referencing their work or, like on the legal terms, I'm thinking, Anne's listening, but just, it would be nice to just say, we're aware that this is happening. We're also aware that the new best practices are to include this and then in a very articulate way, proceed and say, and for this reason, that's what we do. You know, that we highly endorse an environmental impact and a health impact study, because we have certainly learned, you know, and not only that, I mean, not that we sprinkle COVID into everything, but we now have, we kind of have to, right? You know, we have a high impact hit to the same cohort. We have long-term pulmonary function issues from this this just virus that has enraged people's immune system. So I kind of feel like we could at least make it more notable for what we know today, since the project's first started, is my thought.
Absolutely. So I am not a legal expert, but I am happy to get back to Massachusetts Climate Action Now and Greater Boston Physicians for Social Responsibility and look and ask about a resource that we could.
I appreciate that.
That would be helpful in writing the letter. And actually, and definitely we've seen that that COVID infections in areas that have a high burden of pollution are more lethal. So.
I mean, the board, just for the sake of the record, just prior to COVID, we were really trying to make disparities in access part of our focus, which we continue to do, but we're just trying to do what we can with COVID, but always with that in mind. So certainly it's consistent with the direction that we've been taking, and it's consistent, not that we have a particular mission statement, but it's definitely consistent to what the board has been speaking to for the past 2 years, and that we have got to understand the healthcare disparities that we have even in Wakefield, but especially understanding our region. I think we're becoming more regional with our healthcare. It sounds like the new talk on Beacon Hill is to consider more regional thinking in regards to public health work. So I think this is all consistent.
Great.
All right. Thank you very much for your expertise.
Oh,
Thank you, Susan.
okay.
Thank you.
I'll take off then. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. Thanks. Oh, sorry. That's the chair's job to say that.
So do you still have to, so are you going to wait for this information to come in, or are you going to go ahead and,
I think we could start drafting.
okay.
I think we can start drafting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, mostly because we had asked Anthony to reach out. I was just about to say, I mean, I'd like this to be out as before Christmas, before the next meeting, in fact, but maybe we all need we all need to look at it. I don't know that we have to vote on it. I think that I don't know. We might need to
I think we have to do vote. I think we have to read it and review it and just vote that we do agree what the content is.
yeah.
We
I
could
don't think it
vote
would hurt to vote on it.
at our next meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, we could, yeah.
Send it out. I know it's just time is ticking. So
You have another meeting before the new year, though.
yes, we do.
Yeah, December. We'll have a December meeting.
Perfect.
Yep. So
One last question.
Mhm.
So you would like references in terms of the impact that the plant will have, or just legal advice as to how to phrase the letter so as to be persuasive.
I mean,
Yeah.
Anthony, what do you think? Yeah, I mean, my thought is we write it and just have someone, from outside of our board say, yeah, this is, that's that's a good point versus that's a distracting point, or
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, we could even utilize our town councilor. We
Yep.
could think about, we have resources for that. So
yeah,
maybe it would be most helpful if we had some sort of, reference for requesting that health impact study, similar to the other plans that already exist. Maybe just some background information might be helpful, but I think I think the legal part, having someone look over and everything, I think the town council can do that. So.
Okay. So regarding the comprehensive health impact assessments and the environmental impact reports and what they've been shown to do in other projects.
Does that sound right, Laurel? I think that's what
yeah.
we're
I
asking
mean,
about.
if it's not onerous to do so,
Maybe
Okay.
we could get copies of the most recent letters the other boards have sent. Do we have those, Anthony?
really,
No.
I think we only have the one. We don't have all of them.
It might be nice to have from Danvers and Holden, right? I think you have Peabody's you mentioned.
Yes, we have
Okay.
Peabody's. We don't
Yeah,
have.
if we're, in the interest of consistency, let's see,
Yeah.
what their main points are, what the gist of their letters are, and we can decide, if we want to kind of form ours the same way.
Great.
thank you, Dr. Reese.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Now I'll leave you. Sorry. All right.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Susan.
Okay. Bye.
I have to break my academic ways. Ugh, I need a reference.
I'm leaving too. Goodbye. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
bye, Julie, nice to see you.
Thank
Nice to
you.
see you. I'm leaving you with Anne.
Okay.
Okay.
Anthony, do you want to get down to a health director's report? You got anything?
Nothing. He's doing nothing.
Yes. Nothing. I have been doing absolutely nothing.
That's
No.
cool. All right, sounds good. Bye, everybody.
So it's a pretty quick report. The biggest thing that's going on right now is obviously the 5 to 11 clinic. I'm sure all of you have heard about it by now. We've reached out to multiple partners about this. It's this Saturday. It is 9 to 4. Many of you, I believe all of you are participating at some point. Is that true?
We're like the most active board in the world. We just
This is a very active board. We've also reached out to town council in Wakefield as well as city council in Melrose. We want to make sure that everybody has a chance to participate if they want. We're looking for volunteers. Currently, we are doing all right on the volunteer front. We're just getting the last few pieces together. But I think we're in a good spot. So the clinic is for 5 to 11 only. There's no restriction. There's no restriction. So there's a restriction for individuals getting the regular dose vaccine. There is no booster, and there is no so there's no booster available at the time. So we are only giving the 5 to 11, and then the registration link will restrict everybody from registering unless they are between the ages of 5 to 11.
Yeah. And so yeah, I had just clarified that point because we know people will kind of say, well, can I just sort of thing, and it's a different vial. It's a different formulation, so it's easy to say no in this regard. Say, yeah, no, it's the wrong one. And we're using the middle school, and we're setting it up. I think 2:30 on Friday. We were able to request that the Wakefield Academy kids may be in the gym that day because we need to really thoughtfully set up the learning commons of the middle school. God, it's beautiful in there. And what I'm especially sensitive is any sound mitigation, which that room already has and the hallway actually has, because we know from past experience with doing large pediatric clinics that it can get, one sound can kind of trigger
Travel.
sound. So, all right. So the gang is back together. Well done, us.
Yep, and then I guess the only other update would be the past flu clinic we just had on the last Saturday. It was had the AmeriCal Civic Center. It was a kind of a family flu clinic. It was available for pediatric as well as normal doses and some limited high doses. I think it was a great clinic. We had about 150 vaccinations. And so this was, just a good event to get, the flu shot as many arms as possible before I head into December. So it was a great pop-up. Thank you to everyone who was there. I believe the whole board was there, so yay us again. Thank you for everybody participating, and
What
I
time
think
or not.
it's a great practice, a great drill for next year when we do it again.
Yep. Do we have to send vaccine back that we haven't used? Is that the next thing, or are we gonna try to do it again?
So we're thinking about with the vaccine that we have left, it's not a whole lot, but we can do a smaller pop-up possibly. If we have some certain events we may end up going to. So we're planning on trying to use them as much as possible, though we will send back whatever we don't end up using.
Okay.
But we don't have a whole lot left.
So we could even, I'm wondering if we could, well, we'll talk some more. We'll see after a debrief after this Saturdays. Because one of my thoughts is maybe have it available on the second round, and any of the parents of the kids were, maybe just set it up going in a different direction. That may be too ambitious, but
You can always offer it out to other health departments if you have a few. Sometimes people, I know one health department already did send an email. She had like 30 doses. She was looking, but it's just starting. Flu is just starting to come in on Maven, and the testing is being done a lot. I know one of the local PCR places is doing flu plus the PCR at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So I think so it's been good because it's helped a lot. It really has helped a lot to diagnose. And I think you're going to, the prediction is that the flu you will see now. Am I not right? Anthony, have you heard that one, that we're going to see it now?
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Yeah. So if we just hold it and see, you never know. Sometimes, you do a quick little thing and you can get rid of everything.
We could always consider at one of those like holiday showcases, that are coming. I don't know. I feel like there's 2 or 3 of those coming up, like a shop small holiday showcase. Might be an opportunity.
They're not doing the holiday stroll, but
Yeah.
They're doing something, I think, this weekend, honestly, which doesn't really work at AmeriCal, but
we're busy.
We're busy. We're next door.
Yep.
There is an event, I believe December 3rd. It's some sort of Santa Claus driving through town in Wakefield, I believe.
Okay.
Some sort of holiday event. It's not really an event where everybody's clumped together, so it's going to be difficult to reach everybody. But we could, that's just an idea. We could throw something together, have like a neutral site close to the route, and then if they want to stop by and get their shots, we could do that. It'd be a much smaller event, maybe a couple of vaccinators. But
I think we also are having an indoor farmers market in December, so maybe there.
Oh, are we? Oh, good. Yeah. They used to
Yeah.
have one in Melrose. Is there one in Melrose this year? Anthony, do you know?
I haven't heard anything, but Cynthia, did you hear anything about that? I don't think I heard about an indoor farmers market in Melrose. I think in Wakefield they were.
Just Wakefield? Oh, that would be a good time.
Yeah, we have 2 in Wakefield coming up.
Oh, when?
I think the one is mid-December. I don't know the dates exact, but I think maybe the other one might even be this weekend.
I think it is. It's before Thanksgiving. So
So one this weekend and one in December, like maybe the 16th of December, if that's a Saturday or Sunday.
which will be our 3-week post. Yeah, hold on. Because after we do.
Yeah, we can think
COVID,
about mid.
So 1, 2, 3. So the 11th is when we're going to offer the second round of the COVID under 5 to 11, right?
Yes.
3 weeks.
correct.
Okay. Probably that day. All right. Let's, let's not make our, we'll be fine. We'll figure that out. Hey, is there anything else, Anthony? Because I had 2 questions of things I've heard between now, last meeting and now.
Sure, depends what the questions are.
Well, so
I'm just kidding.
we all got CC'd the letter from someone being pretty upset about the dumpster penalty. And it sounds like we just skipped coming to the board because we had offered that opportunity last January, I believe.
So,
Did it just come forward?
yeah, I am aware of that case. It sounds like our town solicitor department is dealing with that right now. So what I understand was there was an offer made by the board previously to have them pay half of what they owed in terms of late fees, I believe. Is that correct?
That was
correct.
last
Yep.
winter,
So-
yeah.
Right, and I had spoken to Steve about it, and he had his history of the case and everything, and I believe the stance was basically that if we offer this discount again, this would kind of allow this person to not follow the rules, and this was
Yeah.
they were already given a chance to follow them in the first place, and so I mean I am more than happy to discuss with the board because I don't think there's action taken yet. So it'd be great if you guys want to kind of weigh in and see if there's anything different that you guys would like to do about this case. But it just seems like for this case they've already been given ample opportunity to to pay their fines and address this. So we may just want to pursue action and move on from it.
Okay. And then has anything been going on with any properties at risk with hoarding on Water Street? I know that we've had an open case. I don't know if there's a new case or any action going on in a current case.
I don't have anything prepared for Water Street. Water Street. Was there something specific you were wondering about? Because I don't
I
know
was just
that I have.
so just so you know, if properties come up, so often we have a couple of properties that are a combined effort between public safety, building, fire, which is public safety, and us. And so every so often, if when issues percolate, that often just gets thrown into the director's report. So if anything, gets revisited there. And then we also got a note from Inspector Coral Hope regarding a question about someone wanting to open up. Was it tattoo? It wasn't tattoos. It was.
Is
It
it
was
micro
tattooed. It was tattooed eyebrows.
tattooed eyebrows?
Was
Yeah.
that microblading or tattooing?
Micropigmentation?
I think it was. I forwarded you the email, Anthony. Did you get it?
It was cosmetic tattooing is what the title was.
Yeah. Micro shading. Micro shading.
So just so you know, so the board has spent lots of time on these. The problem is the technology keeps
Changing.
evolving, and
Mhm.
and we're all getting better looking, and so we don't have ready answers for these questions, so we may have to pull out what we've got on the books and see if it would be nice if the state would help us with this yet again. And I know but I was just wondering if there was anything that the board needed to do. So these
Do we have any tattoo studios in town? No.
No.
Yeah, we wrote our regs, am I not correct, Cindy, for micro?
blading.
She wrote for
Microblading.
microblading. Yeah, she didn't write for micropigmentation.
What's the difference?
I think it's semantics.
It's the
Yeah.
microblading, they use like a little thing and they cut into it, and the micropigmentation is like tattooing.
Okay.
It's more there's like a fine minute difference. But I think we also rewrote the tattoo. We don't have any active tattoo parlors, but I think that she was, at the time, the director was looking into the regs that we had done in Everett. We had redone
Yeah.
our,
I was gonna ask, do we have any friends that have these micro pigmentation studios?
We
We could maybe see how they do it.
Yeah, we did micro pigmentation, but not microblading.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because they fell underneath our tattoo regulations.
Right, so,
So they don't really fall into like the aesthetics, like the cosmetic sort of
No,
those
not like,
regulations.
not like that,
beauty.
girl. Yeah,
which
yeah.
is state, and is tattoo local rule? I can never remember.
Is it?
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Everything is local. Nothing is state with them. With like with tattoos, they don't cover for nothing.
Okay,
Nothing. It's all up to us for the inspections. It's all up to your regs. And it's a very, very detailed process. Took us, when we rewrote ours, took us 2 years to rewrite them.
and Everett, yeah.
Yeah,
and
and that
we
was
were
just
like-
for the, yeah, just for the parlors alone, just for tattoo parlors. Took us
Right.
2 years because we had 5 of them at the time.
Okay, so we certainly have other priorities.
Yeah.
But, we
I
still
think we
need
just
to-
should, if we revisit it after the first of the year, maybe review them.
Yep.
And take a look at them. And I don't know, does this person contact anybody, Cindy? Did they contact anybody in the office to look at the regs or ask about them online? Because everything's online.
Everything is online. She just sent that email inquiring about the cosmetic tattooing. I don't know much about it. We do the microblading, so I didn't know if you guys just would if you looked at that email, if it sounded like it was something that they were just renaming it cosmetic tattooing and it is
Yeah,
actually
well, that-
microblading. I don't really know.
Yeah, so
So
I need to do that work.
I think we could reach out to her and find out exactly what they do, what she's certified in. I don't know.
Yeah,
And it sounded like she was just gathering information at this
Yeah.
point to see if
Yeah.
Wakefield was like a friendly place to have this kind of.
Right.
um, salon.
Yes.
okay. Yeah, so Anthony, just so you know, before COVID, we were talking about other things. We spent a lot in it. The problem is the training almost becomes circular. You know, there's no certifying board. People talk about having hours of training, but the person they've trained with doesn't have a certification because there's no such thing as a certification. It really gets nerve wracking, especially if you're used to an over certified and regulated business like nursing and medicine and dentistry and other things that are harder. So, and also historically, the state luckily, certifies and register, does registration for their not physical therapy, but massage therapy. However, every other kind of call therapy is not. And when you have time, we'll pull you through that process because it was difficult.
That sounds good. And
And we made a
for
rule.
for these specific cases, I'm gonna, for the next meeting, Coral, our inspector Coral has been working on these, so I'll have a more full report. It's just kind of in initial stages right now.
Yep, I hear you.
Okay.
I think
Anything
that's it.
else?
I think that's it for the director's report. I don't have anything else on
Okay.
the list.
Laurel, Elaine, should we talk about next month? What are we saying?
Well, wait.
Oh,
I
wait,
just-
I thought you had 2 things. Were those the 2 things or you got more?
Well, that was my questions to Anthony, but I just wanted to report on Wake Up.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys getting emails from them? I asked them to add them to your.
I
Okay,
got a couple.
okay, so I've asked for both of you to be on the distribution list of minutes and agendas. And so they're always amazing meetings. If anyone can zoom in, I know that you're really busy, but we have just an unbelievable cadre of talent in the room who's talking to each other. One of the things that I just want to highlight is that, and I forwarded to you 2 things that Tracy Ossolillo, who is the recovery coach funded through Elliott and the police department. The police, you may have noticed on Facebook, just put out an alert that we're seeing even more fentanyl laced in everything, including marijuana. So, just kind of being careful and forthright about non controlled marijuana sources is going to be concerning. Tracy sent another one, I think just after I sent you her last two things, about a new drug that is not an opiate, it's a sedative, so it's not responding to Narcan. So those are the crummy things that are percolating in the world. But the coalition itself is doing impressive work. And the work that's happening at the high school is super. It's just a great, it just makes you feel good about how thoughtful different members of Wakefield is in this regard. So I just wanted to put a shout out there. Anthony, we'll get you to a meeting eventually.
Yes, I've already missed my fair share, so I'm trying my best to make one of them.
I know. But it's a pretty cool group. The next
And
meeting.
And I'm lucky. I
Anthony,
think we're
can
lucky
we
enough that I'm sorry. Go ahead.
can we put on the agenda for next month to do a little bit of a review on the closing of the CTC so that the board has a better understanding of how local health will be in charge now?
Sure, I think that's good. It would be good to summarize kind of the information that was given up by Maven, and keeping everybody in the loop about that. It'll impact communities around the area, but it's still good to know, I think.
And then Ann Santos, you're on the call. Can you hear us?
I can. I'm now in my car, safely talking hands-free, if anyone's concerned. So I can hear you, yes, and thank you for a great meeting. That first presentation was so interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know what you're going to highlight for Ann. Just tell them all that we wear super capes.
We know that already. But as the liaison to the Board of Health, I'm reporting back on Monday. So I'll just put out for any of you, please contact me off list if there's something you want me to bring up, or fabulous things you're doing, which I already know from listening to the meeting with regards to 5 to 11 clinics. So yeah, I mean, you guys are, man, you haven't had a break.
Thank you, Ann. Yeah.
Is there anything I can do or bring back for you folks?
Yeah, see, it's Monday. Too bad it wasn't tonight, and you could ask them all to come Saturday. We'd love to have them. We even give out lollipops or Smarties. We give candy.
Smarties, lollipops, a few other things. Yeah.
I still want to know where those stickers went.
Yeah. I saw that call for volunteers. I may be in Philadelphia all weekend, but certainly if you want to just send an email to me, I can forward it to the board if anyone's around.
Okay.
Having been to some of the clinics, it's such a great vibe, and I can't imagine how much more it is when you're bringing your child to get vaccinated.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it's going to be
Fun.
We'll see. Okay. I'm stopping. I'm not talking anymore. Oh, wait. Elaine was recognized. We must celebrate this and have it in the minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I got the award for the Heroes Award. It's the Something Morris given out by the Rotary Club, and the Rotary here in Wakefield nominated me, and Anthony also attended, and Catherine. It was a great thing, WCAT and all of the board members from the Rotary Club. It was a great honor, and it was totally amazing to see all these other cities and towns and what people have done. And they weren't only medical people, right, Anthony? That was the thing. They were.
Oh, we're losing you. Oh no, you froze.
Yeah. Well, I think I caught most of what Elaine said at the very end, but it was definitely not all medical professionals. I think they did a great job honoring all different parts of public health, and dedication to advancing the health in communities. Obviously, Elaine, very much deserving. We're very happy that she was able to receive this award. She's getting some of the recognition that she deserves for all her years of service. And so, it was just a good event overall. It really, highlighted that there are a lot of great resources out there and people who have dedicated their time to this.
That's good to hear. We have, congratulations, Elaine. We have
Congrats.
heroes.
Congratulations, Elaine. Well deserved.
And congrats, Laurel, to you too.
Oh, thank you. I passed my test. Now I have to get a job.
Yay.
Okay, I'm done, Madam Chair.
Anybody else? Anything else, Elaine? Anything else? December 15th, next month,
Yep.
7 p.m. Hopefully.
That works for me.
Cool.
Are you gonna email Sherry and then go back to your vacation?
I am.
Oh, and I did speak with all the applicants. Did I mention that?
No, oh no, do tell.
Yeah, they're excellent applicants and all like kind, motivated folks. And I did encourage them all to stay involved, to maybe consider like being part of Wake Up or the Wakefield Human Rights League. I talked about some of the upcoming community events and ways to get involved. So, but I had nice chats with all of them. So it was good.
That's super cool. Thanks for doing that. That's great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank
Sure, I
you.
was a little apprehensive. It's never fun to have to call people and share bad news, but I think they already sort of had the ice broken before I got on the phone with them. But they are all really great.
Good. Yeah, it's classy.
Awesome. Okay.
Great. Well done, team. 6:27. I guess I could take a motion to close our meeting.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting and see us again on the 15th at 7 p.m.
Great.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
I think Elaine maybe needs to second that. She's able. She looks a little frozen.
You're a little frozen. You can text a closure.
Elaine, can you hear us? Can you hear us on audio?
No.
You froze.
Oh,
Can you? Maybe.
maybe I can text her. Hold on. Can I? Oh, there's no chat in this.
There's
I know,
gotta
I
be.
just noticed that.
I guess
Oh,
we're
I
gonna be
think
here
because
until
it's,
Wednesday unfreeze.
It's closed captioned, so everything should be like fully available for everybody who's hearing impaired.
I know, but you can't type.
And she's gone.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, wait,
Okay,
she
well, we're
just
the
texted me.
majority.
Wait, she just texted me. Yeah.
What'd she say? It's okay to adjourn? Having
She
a little-
votes.
I think my computer is here. I vote what? Oh, she seconded it. She votes to close.
Okay, excellent. So
I
all in favor.
Orville, aye.
All right, Linehan, aye, and I'm saying Silva, aye also.
Yeah.
Good night,
Awesome.
everybody.